Thanks for joining us again. Welcome to the Out on a Limb podcast. I'm Todd Trueblood, and with me again today is Tom Jensen, our industry expert here at the Van de Hei Company. Today we'll be talking about Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. So Tom, tell me about, we've been talking a lot about the wow factor over the last few months.
Yep.
And that factors in again when we talk about Christmas.
Oh, absolutely. It's that one time of year that you maybe can't have too much wow. And when you look at all the different things around us, it can be done in so many different ways that aren't available to you, let's say, in landscaping. Things like this this beautiful cover for a mailbox.
Something I've never seen before.
Yeah,
personally.
and this is simple. It's simply a matter of putting it on top, and then you rubber band the two bottoms together. It is sturdy out in the wind and the snow. It's mixed greens decorations. It is something unique that hopefully you get it in your landscape and then convince all your neighbors that they have to have one also.
It's very nice, handmade here at Van de Hei's by our designers. And like I said, I've not seen that before, and I've been around a long time.
Yes, you have.
What else? What other options do you have? I mean, everybody has the standbys of, the nice Christmas tree. There's ways to decorate that up a little bit and
Sure.
do something a little bit different, like the one here behind me. But also just the Christmas wreaths and holiday activities. There's some options to that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, most people think of the traditional round wreath, and there's nothing wrong with that, full of mixed greens and fruit and berries. Again, kind of like this piece we've got here. You can do it in more natural tones as well, like a piece that's back behind us here if you prefer. But a wreath nowadays doesn't necessarily have to look like a wreath. They have been morphed into candy canes. We have an example of one of those on the wall where it looks just like a wreath with a flat end to it and a bow, but is a very distinct candy cane shape. There's great history behind the candy cane because it was done originally to keep choir children quiet in the big cathedrals in Europe. So they bribed them with candy, and from that came the candy cane.
And today we still do that.
We still do that. You wanted to give me some before we went on the air.
It never
just to
works
keep
with
me
you.
quiet,
It doesn't
right?
work with you.
So that's one way those things have changed. There are swags and table covers. There are atriums like we're looking at here in front of us, which are done in kind of an old world design of a woodland, using different greens. And again, all these are made here at Van de Hei's by our designers. These particular atriums are made of recycled glass from old buildings. So there is a vintage feel to this as well, along with this particular vintage design, which is more Victorian in nature.
The nice thing about this type of product is that once the season is past, you can pull that apart, take all those greens out, and then do something with succulents or houseplants or whatever you'd like to use in your
certainly
throughout the rest of the year.
And this itself may last 3-4 months.
Right.
Again, it's
Probably
enclosed. That if you wanted to look at this not as a Christmas decoration but a winter decoration, that would be one way to do it. You had mentioned trees, and we have an example behind you that's done in a very natural way, but no longer are Christmas trees Christmas trees. I think when you and I were kids, and we've talked a lot about that in past times,
Yep.
somebody went out into the woods and just cut trees down.
Yep.
For example, the trees that we sell here at Van de Hei's are from a company, and I think you know the name of where that's from.
Hanover Tree Farm.
Hanover Tree Farm, which
Wonderful
has
people.
actually provided trees to the White House.
Yep.
So it's a very, very high quality tree that is not sheared as tightly, so it looks more natural. You can hang more ornaments on it. And these are all fir trees also that we sell, which can give you as much as 6 weeks indoors if you give them the right conditions.
Yeah, I remember a Christmas past where I decorated a spruce. I've regretted that ever since. I won't go back to spruce. Fir is the tree that I will always use. It's so much easier easier to work with. It's not nearly as prickly. Much better fragrance. It's just all in all a better tree.
You pay a little more,
Yep.
but again, it's a better tree for decorating, at least in our opinion here. and its longevity. Like I said, a Fraser Fir, just to name one of the types, yeah, it's not uncommon that you'll get 4 to 6 weeks. So it does allow you to be decorating a tree prior to Christmas, keeping it up through the 12 days of Christmas, and still having something that looks nice without going artificial, that you're still using a live tree.
The nice thing about the products like the mailbox cover and the hearth piece and centerpieces and the wreaths, it's something that you can just come to us and we can decorate for you, and you can purchase from us. But we also offer a lot great classes to work on this on your own, to kind of walk through the process of creating this beauty on your own.
We have a huge assortment that start towards the end of November, and all you have to do is go on our website, www.vandahize.com, see what is available. But we're offering classes in hand-tied wreaths, which means you make it from nothing. Mm-hmm. We put a pile of greens in front of you, and when you leave, you have a wreath. We have Christmas decorating classes, which is a wreath that's completed, put in front of you, and then decorated. We have centerpiece classes. We have classes for your outdoor containers. And on all of these, you're taking home something that is really custom made by you, but made under the guise of our designers, that you may not have even thought about doing.
Yeah.
So it's custom, it's unique to your situation.
Yes, we're evergreen people. We use a lot of evergreens. Not only do we plant evergreens, obviously, in a landscape situation, we use evergreen boughs when we're protecting tender or possibly tender plants through the winter. Evergreens have a special place for us.
Well, they do for most people, and everyone knows them as a traditional part of the holidays. Again, look, we're surrounded by it here in our living room here, but they go back many, many years, many, many centuries. Evergreens being cut and brought in go back to the Druids, I mean, way back into England and Scotland and those areas, where it was their thought that in winter they were being punished, things were being taken from them, and here's something that is green all through the winter. So you had evergreens, you had holly, you had mistletoe, and they would bring these things in as a remembrance of the spring to come, that the light would return and so on. It really took off when Christianity hit the world, because they saw many, many symbols in all of the greens that we have. Again, these are evergreen. God is everywhere. Jesus is everywhere. So that it can represent that they go on and on even through the winter months. Trees, at least by tradition, have pointed tops because they point your eye up to heaven as a way of remembering what has taken place over the years. We had mentioned like a candy cane wreath. It went beyond that candy that I was talking about to putting the hook on the top, where it became the shepherd's staff for the shepherds in the Christmas story. Mm-hmm. The white was Jesus's purity and the red was Jesus's blood. So you had the whole gospel story in one little piece of candy that was being done. And evergreens continue to do this in everything we do. So there's a strong Christian background to this. There's a very strong history that goes well before Christianity, especially in Scandinavia, English areas, and of course now we have made all of our own traditions. Everybody has a tradition that something certain has to happen, or there's certain greens in place that you're going to have, or that was grandma's favorite. So they have woven themselves in all of the holiday traditions and things we do.
It's a lot of history, Tom.
It is. I've been around a long time to learn it.
I wasn't going to say it.
I would.
So tell me a little bit about more about Christmas trees. So there is a number of people in a kind of a sector in the world that likes to use Christmas trees that they can then replant.
Sure. We call them living Christmas trees.
Yeah. How do you go about that?
Well, you first of all have to find a place that does it. And again, Vandahize is your spot to find living Christmas trees. And what we're talking about is evergreen tree. Maybe it's a spruce, maybe it's a fir, something like that, that is potted. Think of the same trees you come out here to buy in June, a nice 5 or 6 foot evergreen in a pot. But you're going to bring it indoors and you're going to decorate it and then plant it outside so that you create a Christmas forest, a Christmas hedge, or maybe each tree that you have brought in is for a different one of your children or something like that.
Kind of tough to plant a tree in January.
Well, it is, so you have to plan ahead. What you end up doing is you find the location and you dig the hole, certainly now, and you hope there's no frost left. But you dig a general hole, maybe fill up a wheelbarrow full of that soil, bring that soil inside, like to a garage, so that it doesn't freeze. And your hole's pre-dug. The soil is inside waiting. You bring that Christmas tree in. A live tree is only good for about 2 weeks and likes to be kept at temperatures well below 70. So these are for cool homes, certainly not next to a heating register, certainly not next to your fireplace, and you definitely have to keep it well watered. Do your decorations, enjoy it like any other Christmas tree, undecorate it after about 2 weeks, and then you literally take it outside, put it into that hole, bring out the dry soil that you saved and plant it like any other planting. Water it until you think you've done enough, and then water it again until you think you've overwatered it. Let it freeze into the ground, and that plant has every potential to come out in spring and think it's never been moved. And now, not only did you enjoy it at Christmas, you enjoy it in your yard, and you've got a story to tell.
Yeah, it's a great story.
It is.
Yep, you get to see your Christmas tree over and over and over again.
Exactly.
Okay, so now let's catch up with our designers and see what they're creating for us today.
Well, welcome back, everyone. We're here at Santa's Workshop or Vanda High's classroom, whatever you want to call it this time of year. We're here with Deborah, one of our designers, and she's in the process of putting together a unique wreath. Wreaths no longer have to be round, but this is a unique wreath that is designed to look like a horse. And the spruce that is here has been done to be the traditional body shape of the horse. And what Deborah is working on right now is the mane, and she is using something called incense cedar to give that little different texture and color to the look. And when we give her a little bit more time, she'll have this all in place and all trimmed up, and you're going to be surprised what the outcome is. Well, let's take a little closer look at what actually is happening here. First of all, this is the entire horse head. We're talking about the face of the horse here. This clump up here will ultimately be the ear of the horse. That takes some trimming once that other work is done. We're using this incense cedar to create the mane and the flowing effect. And then with a little bit of trimming once again, this will look like the body of the horse. So with a few more minutes of work, this gets transformed from just various different greens to, frankly, a beautiful horse head suitable for anybody who loves horses or who might have a stable.
Happy holidays, everyone, and thanks again for joining us on the Out on a Limb podcast. I'm Todd Trueblood with the Vanda High Company, and with me today is Andy Redlin, also from the Vanda High Company. Andy's our sales supervisor and one of the geniuses behind our lighting display here at the Green Bay Botanical Garden this year. It's a way that we can expand upon the wow factor that we've been talking about for the last few months, and I think that the display that we've done this year is as wow as we can get. Tell me, Andy, the display's right behind us. What was the inspiration of this?
Well, we were trying to play off the natural elements to the weeping spruce trees, and the weeping nature to them made it almost look like they were water elements, and with the amount of spruces that they had, they allowed us to kind of create kind of a frozen waterfall effect from the form that they've taken, hanging lights off of it and creating the movement from them, and then playing off the blues and the whites, allowing it to make it look like a snow, sparkling, frozen water, crystals in the ice, things like that.
And you and Tom DeLahunt from our office kind of been the spearheading this and have created this and had some help from other guys around the shop.
Yeah, it was fun. It took over 16,000 lights to create the display. Multiple different static lights, motion lights, twinkling lights, and it was quite fun. There was a lot of laughs and a lot of hours put in to make it look like that, and it was an enjoyable project.
Yeah, it's quite an upgrade from our previous displays. I think you get into a rut sometimes with lighting, and Andy is a lighting guy even at home. And I think we moved up from the Christmas tree that we had been doing on this patio to what we see behind us, and I think it's quite an upgrade.
It's a big upgrade from last year, and again, we were trying to add elements of what the garden has already done, and instead of just putting up, normal Christmas trees that you'd see everywhere else, we wanted to up our game, which we obviously have the ability to. So,
yeah, and it's something that we do for our clients as well. We do quite a bit of holiday lighting for our landscape clients and other folks around the community. And we've also added an element as well with Tom De La Hunt and his talent with containers and pots and more of a floral feel that we can do on patios and porches.
The containers are maybe a small element. I know a lot of times the focus can be a lot on the lights, but the containers really add kind of that extra element to the features of the display. So I think it is certainly something that we can make, whether it be in a display like this or just on a front porch or a patio, really adds a lot of charm and touch. Even if they're unlit and don't have lights in them, yeah. They can add a lot of festive emotion to kind of your house or business.
Yeah. In fact, most of the container work that we do is not lit and is not uplit like these right. are, but still adds quite an impact to your landscape. Much like the folks here at the Green Bay Botanical Garden do, the event that they do here, the Garden of Lights, is an amazing display for the community. Wonderful spot to come out and get an idea what you can do in your own landscapes, and maybe what you can't do in your own landscapes, but you still get to take a look at it and enjoy it in a wonderful setting like this one. We're very happy to be part of it.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I was enjoyed talking with you.
Thanks a lot for coming again, Andy, and we'll see you in the office. In the next segment, we'll talk to Eileen Metzler from the Green Bay Botanical Garden. I hope you enjoy that. Just want to take a few minutes to introduce Eileen Metzler from the Green Bay Botanical Garden and talk a little bit about our partnership with the garden. We've been a partner with the Green Bay Botanical Garden for a number of years from both a horticultural and cultural standpoint, as well as constructional, if that's a word. We help out as much as we can with the construction of the garden and the advancements that they make, and we get involved in things like the Garden of Lights. So Eileen, can you tell me a little bit more about the Garden of Lights?
Yes, WPS Garden of Lights is the largest fundraising event here at Green Bay Botanical Garden that helps us support our education and horticulture mission.
Great. Yep. And how many lights? How many bulbs? How many?
Over 300,000 LED lights are out on display this year.
And 16,000 of those are ours, as Andy told us earlier. The display behind us is something that we're pretty proud of this year, and our guys have done a great job. We hear from your director that you're getting a lot of response from it as well.
Yes, we are. It's a beautiful waterfall backdrop with the blues and the white clear lights, and it's really just a stunning piece for people to look at while they're inside enjoying our concessions.
So we've been very happy to be a partner with the Botanical Garden and all that they do with the Garden of Lights. From our perspective, it's a wonderful way to expand the landscape season and show the ways that the landscape can be used through the winter. One thing that we've added to our display this year is decorative containers and ways that we can do some decorating within landscape settings, and I think you've got a lot of response from that.
Yes, we have. So the beautiful containers, you can see a few of them behind us, and then also near our advanced ticket shed, we have a beautiful display as well with natural greens and pine cones and natural elements from Mother Nature that can add a beautiful touch to any landscape.
It's something that we've been doing for the last number of years that really extends the landscape season, and we have a program that we call Color 365. That's part of it, something that we can do on a porch or on a patio that expands and extends that color all through the year. So thanks for coming out again. Thanks for talking to us for a few minutes, and we'll see you again next year.
Yes, and thank you for the great partnership. It adds a lot to our event.